Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the 2022 version of the You Rock Summer Band. Well, we're all inside today, and look, it's a beautiful sunny day outside, of course, always, right? We tried 15 years ago in the same fashion, although I didn't cancel it. I moved the concert inside 2 days before, and rain wasn't even close. Today, it was like, if you were around here this morning, it was raining pretty good today, and well, now it's all dry. But here we are, and we have a nice concert for you. Thanks for coming out. Our first selection is going to be, oh my gosh, I've forgotten already. What is it? Oh yeah, America the Beautiful, of course. So this past summer, I took my kids out to Mount Rushmore and was inspired by the things that I saw out there, including the statue itself, of course, and a fair amount of other Americana. And so I decided this summer we're going to be even heavier on the Americana than we typically are. This arrangement by John Kenyon is more of a student arrangement. And indeed, I never know who's going to walk through the door for summer band. You know, some years we'll have 12 people here. This year, this is happily the largest we've ever had, 27. Let's give them a round of applause so they'll come back next year, too. Thank you very much for playing, everybody. So this evening, we have a variety of easier tunes and some more difficult tunes at the end because I pulled out all the stops. Indeed, we have 7 selections, which we don't often have that many in summer, but we do tonight. So here, without further ado, is America the Beautiful. Our next selection is from a compendium, if you will, concert ensembles for everybody. And indeed, this is what we call a flexible instrumentation arrangement. And Peter Blair put this together, and there are all types of different tunes in here. We actually have 2 selections tonight. Our first is a traditional tune called 12 Gates into the City, and this has been arranged for groups that maybe don't have the largest amount of people in the group. Now, as it turns out, we actually have pretty good representation. We have low instruments, we have middle, and we have high. So in some ways, we don't need this as much as it turns out. But as I mentioned, I never know who's going to walk through the door at summer band. And so I get these out just in case. And it works out well when the band's larger, too. So here it is, 12 Gates into the City. By the way, you might be thinking I look rather flippant up here, right? However, there's a delay on this mic. We can't change it. So it takes like 2 to 3 seconds for it to fire up. So if you look back at old videos of me, there's so many times it's like, and that was great. Oh, wait, whoops, what? So I have to wait for the microphone to come on for it to be, through, which by the way, Alan Luckett and JATV are here once again, video recording. Thanks so much, Alan, do appreciate it. So the memories that you have will be forever preserved on YouTube for at least 300 years. Then who knows what will happen. But with all that said, our next tune is His Honor by Henry Fillmore, another noted American march composer. And this tune, come to find out, is from the 1930s. And it was written for the mayor of Cincinnati. And I guess that Fillmore had a band in Cincinnati at this time. And indeed, from what I've read, Fillmore had one of the last professional concert bands, like a big concert band from those days. Although then again, Band of America may have also fit that bill to a certain extent, which is one of our next tunes. Indeed, I know that there are professional concert bands around still quite a bit. Nonetheless, concert bands were still, how do I put it? It's music that is still around a lot, but it's not something you necessarily listen to on the radio, right? You could if it's around, like maybe catch some of the Madison stations. I don't know, there's a lot more orchestra music nowadays, like WORT will play all types of rather obscure orchestral tunes that then we'll perform here with our fall orchestra and spring orchestra. Nonetheless, that's then, and this is now, His Honor by Henry Fillmore. Hope you enjoy it. I decided to loop the next march together with this one because they are somewhat similar in content and purpose. Our next tune is the Band of America March, and this is by Paul Lavelle, and it's from the 1950s, actually. And this show was a radio show, and it started in the 20s and the 30s and lasted all the way into the 1956. And indeed, this march was used as like an opening, if you will, or like a theme song for this show, which I have to admit, I know this march, I've heard it before, but never heard like the show. And I'm sure there's something, I bet there's something, I should say, on YouTube that will show at least a snippet of this. Nonetheless, this is our last non-Sousa piece, I believe, for the evening. Let's see, sneak on the program. Yes, it is. So after this, it's all Sousa. But here's the Band of America March by Paul Lavelle. Thank you. Our next selections now, actually, the next three are John Philip Sousa tunes. So John Philip Sousa actually studied the violin, and he wrote a piece called the Washington Post March, which was part of a competition in 1889, I believe it was, and he won. And I don't think it was called the Washington Post March until he actually won. That's what it was called. And that helped to catapult John Philip Sousa into fame. And indeed, he ended up being the director of the Marine Corps Band. And, you know, we know him very well for the Stars and Stripes Forever, the fairest of the fair. However, come to find out, he really liked ragtime. And indeed, he would perform some of his straight marches or have them performed in a rag style. And our second Sousa selection is a tune called With Pleasure, which actually is a rag, as you'll hear. But first off, we have more of a straight-ahead march, the fairest of the fair. Our band has played it quite a bit, and they know it pretty well, those who have been here. And indeed, it's classic Sousa, so here it is. It's here, the Sousa rag. Now, I have to admit, I've scoured YouTube. By the way, there are new alternatives to YouTube you might consider, like Rumble. There are lots more videos on, or not lots more than YouTube, but there are lots of videos on Rumble now, or let's see, Dailymotion, Vimeo. In other words, sometimes you can find things not just on YouTube anymore for a variety of reasons. And I scoured those places looking for a John Philip Sousa march, a straight march played in a ragtime style by a concert band. I've found some brass quintets that have done it, but not a concert band yet. You know, I wonder, maybe we should do that one day. It could be fun. You know, our orchestra, sorry, I'm talking about orchestra a lot, but we've played some really obscure pieces they're not on YouTube. It's that simple. And they're not bad pieces either. I just haven't had the time to cut them apart and paste them. I know I was going to do that at one point, but you know, things happen. But with all that said, our next tune is called With Pleasure. It's a rag, although a very brief history of ragtime. It partially comes from march music. And if you know march music, it can be a little bit complicated as far as the structure of it sometimes, a little bit. And this actually, I would say, is slightly less complicated than a typical march, if you will. But still, it's totally in the ragtime style, and it's slower. You might think, you know, ragtime doesn't have to burn it up, if you know what I mean. Ragtime can be nice and leisurely. By the way, it was the stride-style jazz pianists like James P. Johnson and Jelly Roll Morton. They're the ones that took ragtime and jazzed it up and started to improvise more and speed it up too. But ragtime, it may not, maybe perhaps shouldn't always be played fast. You know, long story short. So that's what we hope to give you tonight, With Pleasure. Thank you very much. Well, guess what? We're almost the end of our concert already. Can you believe it? I can't actually. It always goes by so quick. But we will end this evening's summer band concert once again with the Stars and Stripes Forever, which we've ended a lot recently. Now, this year I thought maybe I'll be artistic and put it in the middle this time. But when I heard this version of this band play it, it's like, no way. We cannot not end with Stars and Stripes Forever because it's going to blow your socks off. You just wait. All right, so thank you very much for coming. I do appreciate it very much. In the fall, we have a regular full schedule. We have Collage 12. That's our 12th annual Collage concert where we put all the groups together. We have our annual holiday concert in December. We'll have orchestra in November and also in April, then the concert band in May, and we are going to have a musical this spring. I can't tell you yet what it's going to be. I've already given a couple secrets away, but long story short, it will be here. It will be fun, and you'll be amazed who wrote it, actually, once you find out if we're doing the show I think we're going to do. But that's for later. This is for now. Again, thanks for coming. Here's the Stars and Stripes Forever. Thank you very much. See you in the fall.